Welcome to Just the Guys Podcast.
What's up, fellas? What's up, YouTube world? It is Saturday, and you know what time it is. Time for Just the Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Logic, and I got my fam with me, Reason, Gimpy, Soldiers, and joining us tonight, we have Mr. Fitzgerald. This is the Maryland show. All of us are in Maryland. Normally we had CT on. He's Ohio. He's like the outcast, but the do funny advocate. He still has the do funny disease. So let's say a word of prayer for him. But guys, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking about Trump. We're going to be talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, as well as some of the stuff that's going on in Maryland with Zesty Moore. And so forth, guys. So Reason, man, how are you, man? What's been going on? We missed you last week.
Hey, I'm back. I appreciate it. Yeah, we had a great event last week, so we weren't able to get in, but good to be back. Dude, that intro was so nice. Do you hear that dude's voice to hit that intro on that? Just the guys. I tell you, it's wonderful. No, I'm
Honestly,
doing all right.
man, I've had some thoughts about this intro because I've been thinking about changing it.
You know what? I figured you'd say that. I figured you'd say that.
Because it
but I'm doing good, man.
Hold on, man. It sounds like a dude in the bathroom taking a leak, and this guy's just like,
You know what the crazy thing is? Here's the crazy thing about that. Maybe you've talked it over because I've heard somebody else from MCM say that. So maybe y'all have discussed that. So
I don't know, man.
But I'm doing all right, man. It's good to see you guys. Good
man, Kippy, what's up, man? How you been, bro?
I'm all right. Good, busy week.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Crazy week.
Dang, bro. But guys, make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe. Tyrone, Soldiers of Finance, man. How you been, bro?
I've been good, man. But if that's a person taking a leak, they need to get their prostate checked. That's a weak stream, man.
You just like to take the time about it.
You know what? You know what?
Oh, gosh, man. Gosh. Good Lord, man. And Fitzgerald, man, joining us for the first time, man. We had you on Poppin' Politics not too long ago, but joining us for the first time on Just the Guys, man.
Thank you, guys.
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Great. Everything is going well. I really love the intro. It's very masculine, actually. That.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I really love
it. What's up, Kung Fu, who's also a member, and I call Kung Fu CJ the MCM super fan. Hello, family. I'm in Georgia, but my heart is in the DMV. What's up? He's also a member of the Shamers Club. Don't forget, guys, you can join the Shamers Club. If you can afford a coffee or Starbucks every day, man, you can help us out once a month. Join the Shamers Club. Remember, our goal here is to bring back shame. We're making it a reality that shame needs to be back in the center, in the forefront, in our communities. And, we got gentlemen here that are not ashamed of bringing back shame. So, guys, we're going to jump right into this, man. This is kind of fun to start with. But Trump and Musk have been going at it this year. I mean, I guess you can call it going at it. But the left has been going crazy about this. The right has been going crazy about this. But I just want to do a kind of a little bit of a different spin on it. Now, if these were, maybe fighters in your favorite game, who would that be? So start with Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, like if it was Trump versus Musk, Mortal Kombat, first off, is Trump Raiden? This is just something I picked. I think Trump is Raiden. But do you think if Trump is Raiden, what do you think? Would you agree with that, or who would Trump be in Mortal Kombat? Reason, who you got?
Nah, I would have to disagree with that. I believe personally that Trump is. Hold on. I believe Trump is more like Shang Tsung. He's the final boss. He can turn into whatever he needs to turn into, and when it's all said and done, he's going to end up taking your soul. So there you go. That's my reason for that. Yeah, I think he's more Shang Tsung.
All right. Let's see. Fitzgerald, man, who you got, man? Trump is Trump Raiden? Trump who's Trump, man?
Well, unfortunately, as a kid, I didn't spend as much time with the Mortal Kombat. So my analogy would be pretty bad. But I would definitely lean on this side too with Donald Trump, because he speaks to some of the sentiments that resonate with me, some of the populist working class issues. But at the same time, I see where the disagreement comes from, because the piece of legislation potentially could add large amounts to the deficit. So I understand both sides.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Soldiers, man, who are you taking? Trump is raiding. Musk is Scorpion. Man, who you got?
Well, I wasn't a Mortal Kombat guy. I was a Street Fighter guy. To me, this is Ken versus Ryu. And I'm gonna go with Ken being Trump. Trump wins. And like Fitzgerald said, I see Elon's frustration, but he needs to go about expressing it.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, okay, I can get with that.
So look,
I like that.
So I put Trump as Guile, right? Because Guile was kind of like this American dude. Like, he stood up for, what I mean? Like, stood up for everything, freedom, American. Then Sagat, he was kind of like, I don't know. It's like just Trump, Musk looked like Sagat to me.
But you didn't even answer the one question correctly, though. This isn't Mortal Kombat. This is Street Fighter.
I know, but Tyrone brought up Street Fighter, so I had the Street Fighter image. But all right. So let me get you in here, Gimpy, man. All right, but back to Mortal Kombat, man. Who you picking?
Well, I can't say if because Reason took my pick on Trump. He's Chang Sun to me too, but I will tell you this: Musk is Princess Katana because he's a little bitch.
Yo, but shout out to Kung Fu CJ. He's got the $2 super chat. He said Trump is Sub-Zero. Trump is cold. He followed up with all right. So Trump Sub-Zero, man. That whole Scorpion Sub-Zero. I just honestly, when I was picking this, I didn't want to give Musk too much power, but I also didn't want to make him a girl. Which I mean, I don't know, because that might have been too I don't know, too
subjective.
Not subjective, but his son girl,
Oh, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. I definitely see what you're saying. Yeah.
The whole fight is stupid.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, someone said to me, it's like ex-girlfriend shit. It's got that sort of energy, like 15-year-old girls having a falling out.
I mean, it does, bro. But hey, guys, if you haven't checked out the channel, we do post stuff on the posts on the community tab. So guys, you can go ahead and take the survey. It's up there on the channel. So the White House battle, and this one's for Tekken. If in a Tekken situation, who's winning? Is it King Trump? And I just played on that one because everybody called him King, but King Trump. Yeah. Or Yoshimatsu. So guys, make sure you go ahead and take that survey. We want to get your feedback. Leave a comment on the survey as well, guys. But I do want to kind of shift into it a little bit deeper, because there is a lot to unpack with the feud. All right, what's up?
Hold on. I have to respond to what Kung Fu said, okay? Because he put in here Trump is Sub-Zero because he's cold. Okay, no, all right. I was waiting to get to the other side. I actually had Elon Musk as Sub-Zero because he always considers himself one of the main characters of the game, but the dude is totally trash. Like one of the main top two is always them two, and the guy's got the worst subset. So
listen. I think the S-Files actually has the best take on this so far.
What's she say here? There she is.
Well, I didn't do Marvel, man. I didn't do Marvel.
Right. But remember,
that's an interesting concept.
From the Marvel standpoint, from that whole series, from that standpoint, they both thought, and they both ideas had merit. Okay, and then you had two people who were once aligned, who were now diametrically opposed. So I like that take. I like.
So who's who though? Who's who though? Are you saying? Are you saying Cap? Are you saying Cap's the president? Okay.
Yeah. So guys, there is a lot to unpack with this particular conversation. And I actually want to get into this. I was listening to a Righteous Perspective the other day, and they had a really good take on it, because the big question about this, I think, is this really a psyop? So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, and we're gonna get into the conversation.
Trump's been talking about this for a long time, about draining the swamp. And that ain't just the Democrats. That's both sides.
That's right.
He's been talking about this for a long time. So here it is. You got this bill. He calls it the big, beautiful bill. And then he finds out that, hey, the things that I wanted, yes, they're there. But the things that we wanted to get rid of, they are still there.
Yep.
But politically, the president, after he's already come out and called it the big, beautiful bill, he's not going to come out and say, hey, my people, we didn't read the bill until just now. He's not going to come out and say that. No. So it makes it easy for Elon to come out and say, hey, I read the bill and this is some bull. No, we don't want it. This is terrible. So it gives Trump the ability to save face, because you think about it. If Trump comes out and does what Elon does, it actually makes everybody look terrible. But if Elon comes out and does it, it does a couple things for him. It puts him in the good graces with mainstream media. It could be Tesla prices could shoot back up because the people are in good graces with Elon, and it gives Elon the ability to do the bidding of President Trump. And it's okay that he can be the bad guy. He can be looked at as the bad guy. It's okay. He can take that. You know what I'm saying? For the betterment of the country. And when you started looking at it that way, it's like, man, these people, they're like really playing 4D chess in front of everybody's faces. And you got the media on the left, they're running with it.
All right, guys. So you heard Wise there from a righteous perspective. Shout out to Righteous Perspective. Behind the scenes, before we got started, Gippy started running his mouth. This could be a big psyop. So
you spelled continued wrong. You said started. No, continued to run my mouth.
Oh, continue to run his mouth. All right, but go ahead, man. Is this a big psyop, Gippy?
Well, first of all, I just want to point out his assessment has to be wrong. It's incorrect based on, even if he's right, then Elon Musk, let's give him that he's right. I don't want to say he's wrong. I don't know for sure. But even if I give him everything he says is true, then Elon misplayed his hand. If the whole point is to accomplish this whole thing with the big, beautiful bill, the Epstein off the rails shit, and the whole thing and how Trump responds to begin with at that press conference that triggers the Epstein tweet is off the rails. It doesn't align with that. How does any of that benefit if the goal is what he's talking about? All of that actually derails and negatively impacts it. It might accomplish the things of aligning the Democrats, the media, release the files, kill the bill. But the Democrats were already kill the bill, so that didn't change that metric. And as far as you can tell, the deep state is all against releasing the files. Pam Bondi on one day is saying thousands of videos show, or many videos show, however she phrased it, that children are being hurt. The next day, Kash Patel on Rogan saying there's no evidence that anyone's implicated in anything in any video, blah, 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 blah. One day it's the worst, the next day it's nothing. So for that whole whatever Epstein thing, like that part of the argument doesn't serve the purpose of what he's saying. For me, I think it's a psyop to get the files out, because now you have people who were adamantly against releasing the files, hollering to release the files to implicate Trump. And the argument that Biden would have used it already, to me, is inaccurate, because if it's one of those things that everyone goes down with the ship, right, it implicates too many people, then you're not going to release it just to get one person. You're only going to use it to get many people.
All right. So Tyrone, I mean, I saw this comment from Mark, but what was this? Is this a psyop? Is this a legitimate action, or is it just Elon having Asperger's?
Look, I think it was on this show that when we first started talking about the alliance between Trump and Musk, that I said, it's not going to last. Okay, you've got two huge personalities, two men that everything they've touched has turned into gold. Okay, that's difficult for you to, especially if one's in his 70s, right? So this is something that was never going to last. Now, the other part of this, and I did entertain, the political theater aspect of it, but more and more, I'm starting to disregard that. The other thing that's huge, and who was it? Mark alluded to it. I've always compared Elon Musk. I've always said he's our modern day Howard Hughes. Okay. because back in the day, Howard Hughes was a genius in aviation. I mean, this guy, he was actually, if you go back into Stan Lee's ideas for Marvel characters, and then you also look at Tony Stark's father was based on Howard Hughes. Okay. And Howard Hughes went crazy. I mean, if you wanna skip the books and see a good dramatization of the life of Howard Hughes, watch this film called The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Good movie.
Howard Hughes, I don't know what was wrong with him, but I mean, the guy turned into and this guy was like a big celebrity, huge, but he turned into a hermit, literally started urinating in milk jugs and arranging them in his room, wouldn't come out of his house, nails and beard grew outrageously long. I've always compared Elon to him, not just because of his genius, but because of the little personality quirks. And it's reputed that Elon takes drugs. I believe he has Asperger's, and I believe that genius is going the way of the same direction that Howard Hughes has went.
So Fitzgerald, I want to get you in here, man.
Yeah.
Because is this really just political theater? I mean, as Soldiers was talking about, or is it something else? Is there more to this?
Yeah, no, and I mean, initially, I also figured somewhat could be like political theater because, unfortunately, the quickest way to get back into the good graces of the American mainstream or legacy media is just to attack Trump. And we've seen that Elon Musk lost a lot of money with his businesses, being so political as of lately. But as time continued on and I've been able to think about it a little bit more, I think it's a genuine disagreement because Elon Musk has an ideological discrepancy with Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump is a principled fiscal conservative. And I think Elon Musk may come from more of that libertarian Tea Party side of the Republican Party, so to speak, or Elon Musk isn't necessarily even a conservative for that matter, but his biggest thing is the adding to the deficit and not having the DOGE cuts being codified into Congress in this bill. But I think with Donald Trump, his biggest thing was, we want to keep up with our campaign promises, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. And I know they're saying that no tax on Social Security might have to be a standalone bill too, but I think there's a discrepancy there with their economic theory. And Elon Musk in the past has also actually denigrated one of Trump's interior ministers and said that the terrorist idea sucks and it's awful. And so I think this is a genuine disagreement in policy making, in my opinion.
So shout out to Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat saying they're playing 5D chess. But Mofo, Fitzgerald, I don't know why I call you Mofo. All right, Fitz, but I want to just kind of follow up because in the clip from a righteous perspective, I mean, if Trump effectively this bill comes back to his desk and says, like, I'm not signing, I'm vetoing it, doesn't that look bad on Trump because he this big beautiful bill has gone through and now he said no, we're rejecting it. So could he be using Elon to maybe help kill that early before it gets to his desk? I mean, could there be some truth to that? So Fitz, I want you to respond to that.
I think that's a possibility, and part of my naivete, if this is some kind of 4D chess that they're playing. But I think if this piece of legislation comes across Donald Trump's desk, I think he's going to sign it because this is his baby. This is his agenda in one big package in one big bill, and this is ultimately, in his mind, is how to deter this massive blue wave that may happen in 2026 in the midterm year. And obviously we know that there's going to be a shift in the composition of Congress, and this is his last chance effectively to codify anything into law within his administration. But that's just kind of my perspective and my take. I don't think Donald Trump is too necessarily worried about the deficit issue, because the CBO also said that his tariffs plan will also cut into the tariffs long term by $2 trillion also. So I think he really believes in this piece of legislation, and he treats it like his baby. And I think he would sign it if it comes across the desk.
Gotcha. So, Reason, I got a special question for you, man. And I just thought about it on the fly, but we've seen Elon look at Trump almost like a father figure. I mean, when you see them kind of next to each other, you see Elon, like, regardless of how old they are, Elon is just kind of like looking up to Trump. Before I get there, we got Kung Fu CJ with another $2 super chat. He's also a member of the Shamers Club. So Elon mad that the government subsidies are gone, and I'm gonna come back to that because I want to go to Tyrone for that one. But Elon is looking up to Trump, and you see him look at him like almost like a father figure. And we know when growing up, you're missing a father figure, you're missing that element of life. The reaction you tend to lash out at times, no matter how much like you crave that direction, you crave that order and things like that. But at some point, you're like, man, like you got to test it if he's a real G. So is this an example of Trump? I mean, Elon lashing out against his father?
Not necessarily. I do 100% see what you're talking about, but I think this is more of an ego type thing. I believe that, quite frankly, anything that has two heads is a monster, or in some cases, something that is wonderful but extremely difficult to deal with, depending on who you ask. This is a distraction, quite frankly. I remember back in, I believe really this whole thing is a distraction for something else. I don't know what it is, but I know usually, Trump has a habit of doing stuff like this. This time it just happens to be Elon. I don't know if you guys remember his first term. During his first term, he ended up doing, what did he do? He ended up telling some women of Congress or the Senate to go back to their own country, and took the news cycle up for an entire week, while secretly behind the scenes changed a rule that caused people to stay in the country that they were coming through before getting into the United States. So we had a bunch of people stuck in Mexico and Canada. The guy does play 4D chess. He's a really, really smart guy. So I quite frankly think that's what the deal is. I think these are two really, really, really strong-minded, strong-headed people that are going at it. I think there was a period of time, or every now and then, Elon did kind of do that. But I think what happened was that was instantly erased every time he found out, or it seemed like, their ideologies clashed. That completely disappeared. So I think, that's pretty much what's going on. And quite frankly, just to put the chips in the bag, so to speak,
Fries.
or fries in a bag, chips in a bag. We have to be really, really real here. I mean, people who follow politics, and you guys follow it much, much more than I do, but common sense is more common sense. When you know something of a really large bill is coming out, you have to be under the presupposition that some money's going to be spent.
Yeah.
I mean, these 1,000-page bills are 1,000 pages for a reason. There's a lot of internal shit, excuse my French, that's hidden in there. And it's always 100% going to be like that. The good news is, in my opinion, that, I'm thanking Trump for the fact that he's, taking care of some of that, not all of it, but some of that with tariffs. And I will.
Right. So shout out to everybody in the chat: S Files, Distant Light, Draco, Kung Fu CJ. I want to bring this chat back up. You said Rob?
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Yep. Abba's child. Let's go. All right, so I want to bring this back up because Tyrone, I want to go to you because I think I saw you post something this week saying, or somewhere at times, like this, like moving away from some of Tesla or Elon Musk investments, Tesla or SpaceX and things like that, is going to set the U.S. back for some time. So, is there some merit to Elon being mad that some of his government subsidies are gone, and should those be taken away.
You're muted.
You're
sir.
on mute.
For the benefit of the audience that may not have been here from the beginning with us, I used to be a lobbyist for Verizon. Okay. And when things go in an adverse direction to your corporation, you don't get mad. You get in and you start participating in the regulatory, legislative, and legal process. Okay. And those things take time. Literally, when I was in DC, part of what I worked on was legislation from 1933. Okay. So the Communications Act 1933. So Elon throwing his tantrum, if that indeed is what it is ill-advised. Now, if the government says, which the government had been saying, we want to switch over from internal combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles. Okay, so Tesla wasn't the only one that said, okay, let's get involved in this because there's subsidies and they're trying to encourage this market. Now, I have a big problem with governments trying to boost a market because that's artificial. No one had to convince you to drop your landline phone and get a smartphone. Why? Because the value was there. It just made sense inside the market. Okay. Tesla came out of nowhere. Okay, fine. The other car companies retooled, started doing hybrids, electric. Toyota experimented with hydrogen for a minute. All right, now we've come to the realization as a country that we don't have the infrastructure to replace all ICE vehicles with electric vehicles. And if there's a market, then it will thrive on its own. Okay, we need to back off the government subsidies on that front. Now, and I'll make this quick. On the SpaceX front, it's different. Now, that's different because you've got China, you've got India, Russia. Everybody's getting into the space business. And from a military standpoint, that's the ultimate high ground. All right. So we've got to be in that business, from a military standpoint. We also have to be in that business from a resource standpoint. NASA, Trump has pared down on their budget, rightfully so. They should now be confined to unmanned scientific probes only. Military should be the purview of the U.S. Space Force, and then you can encourage all of these other companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, United Launch Alliance with some subsidies because it is in the interest of this country that we are in that business. Elon needs to pretty much hire me and get off of X because that's how you need to explain that. Okay. And by the way, Elon's making a hell of a lot more money from private SpaceX than the 13% he owns in Tesla. Okay.
Well, there you have it, guys. So I want to kind of shift a little bit because even with this entire kind of fallout, you do see kind of a difference in the way civic discourse is handled, right? I mean, Trump isn't saying burn it all down, despite Elon saying burn it all down. But Trump has kind of responded in classic Trump fashion. Where you swing, he'll swing back, but he's not saying he's going to disown you or anything like the left does. But I do want to share this particular thing, right? Because generally liberals, and I follow this, I don't know why, Brian Crassenstein. But he says, whoa, I knew that Elon would eventually realize that Trump was not best for accomplishing what is right for America. And apparently they're trying to form another party. I think Ilhan Omar and some of these other ones are trying to form another political party that's really just going to be more leftism. But he started by sharing this image. So this seems to be what's going around now, 86-47, which we saw who was it that got in trouble? Cohen.
Comey.
Comey that recently got in trouble for this. So when it comes to the way the left views civic discourse, to me it seems like it's a total agreement type thing. If you don't agree, you're out. And when the right or conservatives have civil discourse, it's like we're just laying it all out on the table. and letting people, fight over. So Fitzgerald, I want you to kind of jump in first. Like, do you see a difference between how civic engagement happened and which one is more healthy for citizens as a whole?
Yeah. So with the Democratic Party is more of an establishment party where ideological diversity isn't really as tolerated. Where, in my opinion, I think the Republican Party now, which is more of a big tent coalition, where you might have, Latinos or working class whites or, true traditional fiscal conservatives or the populist rights. It's more of a big tent coalition within the Republican Party. And with having the Big Tent coalition, it's only natural where there's going to be more room for disagreements, more room for dissent for that matter. And going back to what you're saying with the third parties, and I've just frankly speaking, and been someone that's flirted with the third parties. And I don't think that third parties have the infrastructure to really actually thrive electorally. So you have maybe Ilhan Omar or maybe Musk flirting with the idea of creating a third party, but it's actually a very, very convoluted process to get these third parties on the ballots in these states and have the states to recognize them these as actual legitimate parties. I think, all the people that are just posturing about third parties, it's just they're expressing the grievances or frustration that they have. But I don't think Elon Musk will actually successfully create an American party. And I don't believe that there will even be a room for the infrastructure that he may or may not be able to provide to create a third party.
Now, to be fair, like, this isn't Elon Musk trying to create a party. This is just them floating out an idea of saying, hey, let's call this party American. Because
American party.
The truth is the Democrats lost.
In the last part go round, I'm just going to cut you off right there and fight for my own time. You're incorrect because he posted Elon Musk poll. Is America ready for a new party? On his X during the course of this whole tirade. He floated the idea himself. So be fair.
But we have seen like Democrats have, in realizing they lost in November.
Dude, everything is happening how I told you it was exactly going to happen 6 months ago, man. I'm sorry. Like I've been dead on the entire point. We're exactly where we are. Another catalyst.
I asked you who was going to win the Preakness. I was ready to go over there with
gambling. I don't just you want sports bet gambling. There's a guy named Zachary K. Hubbard out there. He'll give you a great system with gematria, and he'll get you all the gambling you want. But if you want to
credit, you have been spot on about a lot.
I have been down this entire everything, even this Musk and Trump thing playing out with the I'm going to double down. You guys made a bunch of comments that this whole time very interesting, but there are key elements everybody seems to be missing overall in this conversation. Musk be okay losing the EV thing a year and a half ago. He's on the record saying that all those things have to. If Trump really loves the bill the way you say, Fitz, and I don't disagree that he does, but I think he's signing off on all the bullshit in it too. He wants all that. Dude. He's not that he's against it. It's not some secret I'm going to turn and somehow he's going to. There's no way Musk is. Literally what's happening is his own base is splitting. A very small split goes to the Musk side of the argument, but you're damaging your own voting base during this argument. This whole thing creates a fire between two people who are the pillars, quote unquote, of that base, of the MAGA movement. You're taking two pillars and having them break apart. I'm sorry, that leaves a fallout. You're damaging yourselves overall. You're not accomplishing anything if this is some psyop. And again, the only psyop in my mind that makes it worth it is getting the Epstein Files out. It's something that no one ever was going to be released. Yeah, that's where you roll the dice to take the big risk. But if this is fighting over a bill for 3D chess or 5D chess, dude, Musk doesn't like the bill. Trump likes the bill. Here we are. That's like, it's not deeper than that for me. We have to be more like, maybe it's just staring us in the face. It's not a game of 5D chess. It's just general everyday politics in DC. No one always wins. And Musk is losing now. He doesn't like it. Trump is the president, and he's got to look out for guys like Tyrone because they're the ones who are talking to him, and we all know it. And I mean, I'm sorry. That's why I'm wearing my Trump shirt tonight, right? Because you're fighting.
If I might say, I don't think Musk is losing right now. I mean, that statement that you made, what I said
Bill is
back
still
in the day
standing.
is and I get that. And maybe this isn't the whole 4D chess thing that you're talking about, but I'm telling you, this was something that was probably talked about in the past, because I said on multiple occasions, when there's blood on the street, I'm buying some Tesla stock. Like we knew it was going to happen. We knew something was going to happen. There was going to be some kind of fallout, because again, you know what? There are no two presidents of state. There are no two presidents of countries. Nothing. We knew something was going to happen. The fallout took place. Musk went back, and look what Tesla stock is at.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes this isn't. I'm with you. You could be also as right. There's no way to say I'm more right than you are, Reason, on this. My whole point is that maybe it isn't some layered conspiracy that we're all trying to see where there is none. Maybe it's just generalized everyday business meets politics. And it's that simple and straightforward. And there aren't enough Tyrones in DC making good decisions for these other idiots who can't. That's
one thing that also to your point, Gimpy, made me take a look at this and say, I don't know if this is political theater. When Musk came out and said that he was going to cancel the Dragon space capsule. Now, you can't make a unilateral decision like that when you got Air Force and NASA contracts. Okay. You can, and how must the engineers on the floor of that assembly building feel when this guy makes a comment like that to arbitrarily shut down what is arguably the absolute greatest space capsule that has ever been constructed? I mean, it did just perform flawlessly when it went up to rescue the astronauts when the Boeing Starliner couldn't. So contrast that with Boeing and all of the heat that they've got on the 737. They've never come out and said, oh, well, fuck it. Okay, we're just going to cancel the program because we're pissed off that there's so much scrutiny. So Elon, that little knee-jerk reaction was extremely disappointing. And I'm like, that's drugs, because you wouldn't just arbitrarily jump out there on a multi-billion-dollar project that you are obligated contractually to continue to produce for the U.S. government.
So shout out to Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat, said Musk has apologized and deleted his tweets. So again, this is again why I say.
I mean, did you see an apology?
Hold on. Well, Kung Fu said it. I don't know if it's true or not, but what I'm saying is, we did see him delete at least one tweet about what the Epstein something, I think. So the reason why I bring that up is because, to me, this is another example of a kid that had struggles with their parents, father growing up. I mean, you see this kind of relationship playing out on a big stage. But it's also speaking to what's going on in the country. The reason why the left is so mad that Trump got in office is because it's like a father figure is in office. And, despite if you try to play nice and cozy up to the dad, cozy up to your father, this man is still putting you in your place, when the time comes. So I don't know. To me, this is an example of of a father being a father. Yeah. So Elon says, I will apologize profusely as soon as there is a full dump of the Epstein files. Okay, I mean,
and this one isn't deleted. The other ones where he makes the claim about
Trump always being there.
Right. That he deleted, but this is the only thing I find for apology from or close.
But I'm saying
that's a double-edged sword as well.
But again, this could be the massive psyop to get the Epstein files list. That
I don't deny that. That's worth splitting the pillars. I'm sorry, that's what I mean. Like, I'm just trying to take it for it's either directly forward-facing politics, and we're just not used to that recently, or it's this get the Epstein file out, because Dude, let's ask a question. We're all from the neighborhood Dan Bongino's from, right? For the last decade, we've all heard him make one claim, one continuous claim to get paid, right? It's like you would say that that's an anchor claim of his network and his message and his brand. Epstein didn't kill himself and there's nothing on the files, man. Don't stop looking. I'm telling you, please. Pam Bondi says there's hundreds of videos that show minors getting hurt. Kash Patel on Rogan is no one's implicated. I don't understand why no one wants to believe us. No one's implicated. I promise.
What do you guys think happened? What happened? I was going to think, what do you guys think?
I think that the first day you come into office, someone hands you a piece of paper and it says, here are the things you can never talk about ever again. Boom, boom, boom. And Epstein Files, it's somewhere on that list. And then when you say no, and then they show you, see, that's your kid, that's your grandmother, that's right. Like, and they just start showing you video of everyone you know, and in real time, like you're standing right next to them. And they're like, Really, talk about it. Please feel free. Keep talking about it.
There's somebody, there are somebody's, Bob, 999 super chat. Thank you so much. The left, happy at Elon is funny because Elon is mad that Trump wasn't right-wing enough. It shows the left doesn't have any positions. They just oppose Trump. True. That's all.
Facts.
And we got another
What's up, Lena?
Super chat from Positive Vibes. Says Elon suffers from Trump, rather, derangement syndrome, conservative tears, evil laugh. Thank you, though, for the super chat, Positive Vibes. What I was saying was, let's just condense it. If Trump wants the files released, all he has to do is pick up the phone. He's got a direct line to Pam Bondi. It doesn't even go through a secretary. Pam, release the files. That's all he has to do. So there's several someones on that list that are just so high up on the food chain that I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, conservative, libertarian, liberal, you're not releasing it. We're never going to know the truth.
Dude, that's why, and everyone who says, and I will repeat this again, I said it earlier, everyone who says they would have used it under Biden is wrong, because if Trump goes that, God forbid he was implicated, right? He brings everyone down with him. No one goes down clean. You can't he'll just start talking about everyone else who was there. I have nothing to use. I'm going down for it already, right? Like that. Dude, it's a suicide pact. You do that.
The powers that be would lose a lot of leverage. We see, if we look over into the entertainment industry, this sicko Sean Combs was recording these films. Okay, now think about this. He bought a copy of the hotel film where he assaults the cast of the girl. But that was in his possession. How did the government get one? Okay. So there's some high placed folks out there. The government, the upper echelon uses certain tactics to compromise them and get them under control. And they're not about to compromise that system just for 4 years because you don't like this president. Because if I'm in the CIA and I'm dug in deep and I'm some director in there that you don't know my name, I'm going to be here for 40 years. Trump's going to be here for 4 years.
So to that point, shout out to Abba's Child, $4.99 super chat. I heard Elon uses mood altering substances. Has anyone else heard that? I think Tyrone had mentioned something earlier to that, but I wanted to say something to piggyback on something you just said, Tyrone, because when Biden left office, there was this concept of burrowing in, and burrowing in means you putting people in positions that are not elected, not necessarily appointed, but they're part of the bureaucracy that keeps some of these organizations going. So if you had, and the swamp is massive at this point. So you have these people dug deep into, various aspects of government, right? It may not be that simple, and you may be implicating a lot of, different people. I'm just, there is something to it. But I do want to keep it moving because we want to go back.
One more quick thing. Notice how they said there was no videotape. The cameras broke at the detention facility. Now Bongino and Patel are saying they're going to release video. But I thought there was no video. Okay.
Man, everything's a lie. Don't believe anything anymore. Especially not this next guy. Hold on, where can I share it? Oh,
have you seen VO3? Google's VO3, by the way? Okay, so whatever we see on video, can we trust it even?
Oh, no. So, guys, I want to bring this up, guys, because if you don't follow us on the community tab in the post, you got to make sure you follow us there. Because we're going to start posting a lot more often. But I'm sorry we missed last week because last week there was a lot of stuff about the Dems researching men and doing studies on and how to attract more men. So the Democrats do have a male problem, and Zesty Moore is here to fix it. So if you don't know Zest Moore, he is the governor of the state of Maryland, Maryland's first black governor, and that's pretty much why he got elected. Because the opponent that he was running against, Mr. Dan Cox, first you just can't run with a name like Cox, and two, you have to stand for something. But Zest Moore, you're gonna see more of him. He's been on The View. George Clooney said he's the one to look out for. And just last week, he was campaigning in South Carolina, meeting with the Obama advisors, Clyburn or whatever in South Carolina. So early in the primary state. So guys, and we have to start talking about this, guys, because he's going to be vying to be your next president, the president of the United States. And he's Obama 2.0. But we got to talk about this. We're all Maryland guys. Just today, this story was released in the Baltimore Sun that says regular rolling blackouts may become reality for Maryland's energy grid. Now, Maryland has become a state that has championed all these green energy initiatives. Just say right here, these green energy initiatives, and have actually been shutting down coal-fired plants and shutting down nuclear plants, while at the same time having EV mandates. And it's tempting to say, hey, we're going to implement solar farms, but wind farms off the shore, and it's not able to keep up. And Westmore or Zestmore is trying to bring quantum at the same time into Maryland. Now, Fitzgerald, I'm gonna start with you because you've been following
quantum.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing.
What electricity?
So, Fitzgerald, I'm gonna start with you, man, because you have been kind of following this issue, to the T. And are we becoming California East?
Yes, I firmly believe that we are California East, and for some obscure reason, we like to imitate some of the failed policies that we've seen over there and bring it here in Maryland. And to your point, we have these pieces of legislation like the Climate Solutions Act, I think of 2022, or our participation in RGGI, where this is a grand scheme where by 2030 we're going to be net zero for carbon emissions, and they have this idea where we could be able to move away from conventional methods of energy, whether it's, you said, coal-fired plants or fossil fuels, etc. And actually, even this power grid, it's going dark. I think it's even more nefarious right now this summer with these energy prices getting jacked up, because PJM that manages our energy grid, and it's like 13 other states, and the liberal talking point is that every other state that's managed by PJM, they will also be affected by it. But PJM said, well, not so fast. Actually, Maryland's going to be uniquely affected by it because what you just stated earlier, we're actually placing all of our power plants offline. We're kicking them offline. I think it was Brandon Shores too that it's eminently going to close here. And with the data centers that are all across the East Coast, Maryland and Virginia, and then this quantum, him saying he's going to build the economy off quantum too as well. Quantum requires, and the data centers an exorbitant amount of energy. It's a lot, and it's the very basic, simple economics. If you have high demand with low supply, we're going to see automatic energy increases. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are fans of this guy and say, oh, the governor doesn't control energy prices. And I say, I disagree. The governor can go in through the Senate president's office and actually work with them to create legislation to have these nuclear plants or get these power plants back online, go back to the conventional methods of energy that actually work, unfortunately. But I think the governor, he presents well, so to speak. He dresses well, and in modern day politics, that's all that you need, unfortunately. And it's terrible. And us regular common folks in Marylanders, we're bearing the brunt of the bad policies in Annapolis.
So Tyrone, man, this question came up from Distant Light. Shout out to Distant Lights, and shout out to the chat, guys. Keep it going. And shout out to our mods, Positive Vibes, Gimpy, S Files. Shout out to everybody that's keeping it moving. I wanted you to respond to this question, Tyrone. Why can't they build power plants in Maryland?
Because that's you having lights and being able to, live a modern lifestyle is not a priority. They can build it. I mean, we have the technology, of course, but we don't have the will, right? So think about this. Think about how retrograde these policies are. First, let's talk about wind power. 16th century technology, okay? Listen, the two most viable sources of energy as we move into the future and need to power AI data centers, quantum computing, Bitcoin mining, plus, a growing population, are geothermal and nuclear. Okay. People need to get over their fears of nuclear. Okay. Sure, we can destroy a couple of Japanese towns with it. Yeah. We can also provide clean energy with it as well. Okay. And yes, there have been accidents, and from each one we have learned, and the technology has become better. They're looking at this thing called a small modular reactor. Amazon is even looking at that to power their HQ too. Okay. So this technology is growing by leaps and bounds. Geothermal, again, I'm a big fan of that. We just stick a pipe down into, the warmer areas of this planet and draw up some heat to create steam, spin a turbine, and boom, there you go. Okay. But I believe that there's too much in the way of kickbacks, solar and wind. So as long as these politicians are getting their pockets greased, it doesn't matter if it works or not. And apparently it doesn't. If they're telling us we're facing blackouts, I've got 2 solar fields where we live. Okay. Less than a half mile away from where we live. And I'm like, watch, and they're BG&E. And they've become a lot more dull in terms of the surface than they were when they were put in. How efficient can this be? So I say all that to say, look, and I always end up here at one point or another on the show anyway. Find a state where your money is treated better, where you are respected. You're going to stay in Maryland. You're going to be in a place that is prohibitively expensive. Okay. Westmore talks all of this jive about, well, how are we going to get men back in the party? Okay. Here's how: respect the fact that men need to provide for their families and get off of this tax and fee kick that the Democrats have been on for the past 70 years.
Yeah. So go ahead and throw that back up. So again, this Zesmore is the one that's kind of championing these ideas, and
and Mayor 8-Ball. Don't forget, it's Zestmore and Mayor 8-Ball.
But guys, the reason this is, I know we're Maryland, we're local, but these things have national implications because this guy has the desire to run for president. I mean, he's already campaigned, he's been on The View and everything, and this is his number 2. Probably literally and figuratively. Brandon Scott, is up his butt, literally. Dude,
I hear he prefers to be called Mayor 8-Ball.
Hey,
Mayor Head Bob.
I mean, like, seriously, dude, this guy's like, he makes Brandon Johnson in Chicago look like Joan of Arc. Literally. Like, this dude is the comical mayor of all time.
So look, guys, I mean, even this is important because even with this, and share my screen real quick. No, hold on. Go to share my screen.
Copy.
Yeah, here we go.
Sorry, my bad.
So 5,000 gallons of diesel fuel has spilled into the harbor in Baltimore, and now this is a local city issue. This is literally a city issue. Because the oil spill came from Johns Hopkins University, which is not, it's probably a mile and a half away from this part of the harbor. But it was a diesel spill from the underground infrastructure. But Westmore is right there doing press conferences with Mayor Scott. Again, they're trying to elevate, their status, their profiles, and these are Democrats now. Just kind of, I don't know. I'm just saying, pay attention to these guys, and I want to respond to this one. I think, can we replace nuclear with solar power? No, we can't. Can we replace nuclear with solar? No. No.
Yeah, but Elon says yes. Elon continuously said, again, to roll this back into the last topic, Elon's a huge solar person, like huge.
Well, look,
he talks about it on Rogan. He just talked about it again during the Feud. Excuse me, sorry.
Well, maybe in a micro scale, but not like.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, he said no. Hold on. Again, I'm not an Elon advocate, but I'm just pointing out so that the audience has the truth about this guy, so you know who he is, because he's very open about it. That per square inch, solar is the most productive method of creating an efficient method of creating electricity in the future, and forever. That
is that without storage?
Well, dude, you go fight with him. I just want to make sure his message is being clear.
Are we talking about solar just generating?
Yes, he says that's like, I guess, because he doesn't talk about storage in that statement. So yes,
storage is one issue. Storage is one issue. Surface area is another. So sure, if we're willing to just plaster the entire Sahara Desert with solar panels, sure, we can power whatever the hell we want.
The Sahara Desert for something else? Do you need the Sahara Desert for something else?
Actually, yes, we do, for regulation of climate on this planet. So yeah, we actually do need that. But if you're willing to just say, hey, I'm willing to paper every square inch of the planet with a solar panel, then okay. But solar is way too diffuse in terms of the amount that hits the planet and the technology that we have now.
That's what I was going to say. Right now,
right? Maybe one day in the future it gets better, but right now, the answer, and look, the answer is also intermodal, right? So I'm not saying everything needs to be geothermal. I'm not saying everything needs to be nuclear. There need to be situations and solutions that work based on what application they're being, focused on. So this whole thing is not being thought about in a holistic way by the people that are the heads of the industry.
And I believe the S-Files is kind of making that point when she says, how many panels does it take to power a city? I imagine it's a lot. Do you see how many it takes to power a house?
Right.
Yeah.
There are about 10 panels on each side for one house.
Ireland is the biggest con on that too, right? All these people pay and lease these panels on their roof, and they don't even get any battery storage on their house. It goes all into the grid. When their power goes out, they have no power. You have panels on your roof, and you have
that's where my question about the whole storage comes in, because you're if you're doing this with storage, then you're talking about batteries, and you're talking about mining, and you're talking about other elements that are 10 times more harmful to the environment than just sticking a panel up somewhere and delivering electricity, right?
And getting oil that the earth is already producing. Okay. You'd be surprised how many natural oil leaks are in the ocean floor, are going on the ocean floor right now. Motion and salinity takes care of it. It's been happening for billions of years. Okay.
Man, the solutions are already here, man. They're right in front of our eyes. Shout out to Kung Fu CJ again with the two super chats. Nuclear powers our Navy ship, refills every 20 years. Wow.
There you go. Golly.
And that's that, folks.
Wow. Wow, guys, if you haven't done so already, I don't know what you're waiting on. Just go ahead and like this podcast. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Share it with your liberal friends, your conservative friends, your effeminate men that need to man up, and your manly men, your like that, that need something to share with their friends. That just didn't sound right. But guys, we're speaking of manhood. There's been this big feud come out now between Riley Gaines and Simone Biles, and while the media's taken one look at it about kind of like the context of what they're talking about, I want to actually look at it from a relationship perspective between maybe husband and wife, because there is this post here from John Root. It says this whole Riley Gaines and Simone Biles feud not only exposed Simone as anti-woman, but exposed her husband, Jonathan Owens, as a weak leader in their marriage. Man, if your wife is defending men and women's sports, you failed as a leader in your marriage. If Jonathan was leading his wife well, shouldn't we be calling women's sport activists sick? Well, we wouldn't be calling women's sports activists sick and defending the destruction of women's sports. So Reason, I'm gonna start with you because you're generally a red pill guy. Does John Root here have a point?
Well, I'm a traditional conservative. I'll say that. You want to call it red pill? Yes, I believe in truth. Does he have a point? 100%, absolutely. But then again, the way, do your own relationship. Fine, do it your way. But I tell you, bro, I don't see it. I do not see. I guarantee you, 100%, my wife would have never said that. That would have never come out of her mouth. I mean, for two reasons, okay? Even if she believed it, it wouldn't have come out of her mouth. That's just what being a leader is. You understand that you see things as a husband in your position that God put you in. We all report up that she might not see, okay? That is your job. Your job is to protect her and every woman in your family from themselves. You can call it what you want to call it. You can say he's being sexist, this and that. Hey, look, gender roles. Everybody talks about that Proverbs 31 woman that they're like, oh yeah, I want to be Proverbs 31. That was a gender role. Read it. Okay, so like let's be real here. Men were really in their place. If he was in his place, that would have never come out of her mouth. That's for him. Now you. Simone, what I'm wondering what happened. Was it a parenting thing? Was it what in the world? How could you personally be a professional athlete and have that come out of your mouth?
Yeah.
You know who was inordinately smart and got it? Young lady by the name of Serena Williams. Serena Williams rolled up and said, if I were to face Andy Murray or something like that, I'd lose 6-0, 6-0 in 15, 20 minutes. They're two completely different sports because we're two completely different types of people. God did not make us the same. And you should know that personally.
All right, so Fitzgerald, I want to get you up here, man, because you another red pill guy. I'm gonna get the red pill guys are going first, man. Or man, I don't want to say red pill, but manosphere. Your manosphere. So, what is the manosphere kind of take on this? Like, I mean, does John Root here have a point, man? Is this an example of Jonathan Owens who met Simone Biles? I think they met online. They were real kind of conservative about the way they met and were open about that. And even Simone Biles, when they said like, I let him lead, those type of things. is there something to this where Jonathan Owens is not leading his family?
I think honestly there is something to that, because a man that is properly, and guys, I know we're in this progressive era, but we can't change a natural human way of order. You just can't do that. A man that's actually leading his wife in their relationship, or in their marriage, I should say, he would be able to actually instill some wisdom within her too also. And she never would have uttered those words. But the bigger point that I take away from the situation more than anything is how disappointed I am from an athlete, Simone Biles, to say that. I don't know if Simone Biles has ever had to actually compete against another man before. There are a lot of women that dedicated their life to their specific sport, and it doesn't matter how hard they are willing to work or sacrifice, they just aren't going to be able to compete with a man. So I just thought it was very egregious for her to utter those words. It was actually rather selfish too also. It's like, well, if I don't have to deal with it as a gymnast, well, all the other women who play soccer or basketball, oh, well, that's an issue that they have to deal with individually. So my biggest takeaway from it, I was just really disappointed from actually an athlete from herself. Maybe like a commentator like Emily Vigeland, if I'm saying her name correctly. I know everyone saw the video where that transgender athlete spiked the volleyball in the girl's face, and half of her face, I guess, went paralyzed. And she laughed about it. Those are just like extreme left-wing activists or whatever. I don't expect much from them. They're not athletes. But Simone Biles, her being an athlete, I would expect her to have a lot more common sense than that.
Wow. So Tyrone, I mean, Simone even, followed up. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but she followed up with a tweet back to Riley Gaines, saying,
I have it if you want it, I believe.
You're built like a man.
Oh, no, don't have that one. Nope, not that one. I thought you were talking about the other one.
No, basically Simone Biles tweeted back at Riley Gaines saying, you're built like a man, so you should be okay with it.
Wow.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. But go ahead, man. I'm gonna see if I can find that tweet real quick. But go ahead.
Do you guys remember? Yeah, it is kind of selfish of Simone Biles at this point, for two reasons. Number one, the sport she competes in, okay, it's not obvious the difference in performance between a man and a woman, okay, as it would be if they were, say, boxing. Okay. It's an individual thing, and okay, so from the average layman's perspective, he did a triple flip and he didn't break his neck, and she did this and looked pretty good. Okay, so that's the one thing. Her perspective is off partly because of the type of sport she competes in. The other thing is, do you guys remember when the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was being put together, the latest one by Disney? Okay. And Peter Dinklage, who has made a career by playing a dwarf, a midget. Okay. And I want to stress midget, the M word, simply because you're not supposed to say it. Peter Dinklage has made millions of dollars playing a midget. He did a damn good job in one of those X-Men movies. He was pretty intimidating.
Game of Thrones too, I think.
Okay, but he came out and he was like, "Oh no, Disney shouldn't be casting real little people." And I'm like, dude, so you got yours, okay? Yeah, we never saw you in a movie playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, okay? So you got yours, and now you want to shut down this opportunity, which isn't even a big opportunity, right? You want to shut this opportunity down for everybody else, right? So it's on that same vibe for me, which is selfish as hell.
So here's the tweet, right? I wanted to show the whole thing, but here's this: bully some of your own size, which would ironically be a male, at Riley Gaines, and this was from Simone Biles. Gippy, I want to get you in here, man. How do you view all this, man? Is this a weak man, and
I mean, yes,
is he feeding Simone Biles these tweets?
No. Jesus Christ, no.
What?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes,
No. So I have a different take on this. I do. I think we missed an obvious tell here. I think that Simone Biles isn't the conservative personality you think she is. I think she's more super liberal, and she just hides for clicks and conservatism, like many women who are athletic or want to ride the moderate fence or whatever. I'm not traditional, but I'm not left. I'm a free spirit, whatever. Anyhow, we just assume that she fits some sort of pre-narrative we have about like what we mean by we see conservative, but she doesn't see herself that way. It's clear. These are her own opinions about trans, LGBTQIA, alphabet mafia, psychopaths. And
well, to be fair, I didn't call her conservative, but I
the whole
way she met.
Yeah.
The way
they're
she
selling that too. They're not selling like the idea is they're selling that to the middle of the road, the right, like. The whole thing is this is a woman who's a liberal. She has liberal views. Her husband isn't going to stop. No one is going to stop anyone from saying something on social media unless you literally have your hands around their throat while they're trying to say it. I apologize, but you don't have the ability to physically stop, right? Like unless you're going to stop them from doing it, and they're not going to have the ability to stop your wife. Like I'm married. I try and lead, but yes, sometimes my wife says things that even shocks me. Like, sorry, that's life. She's saying whatever the hell she wants because she has access to a phone and a social media account. Yes, is he weak? He's weak because he tries to present his marriage as one thing and it's not. And be truthful to yourself. Again, that's the weakness there for him. She's just being her. And the fact that two girls are fighting over men in women's sports just speaks how absurd today is. Like, I'm on Riley Gaines' side in all this. Simone Biles is insane. She's saying let men beat up on women in women's spaces because it's feminism. Yeah. That's insanity.
If I can get one
real quick. This is why we need to. I don't want to hit the brakes on this. I want to hit the accelerator. Just go ahead and make it so that women are in all of these men's sports. And in about 2.5 years, there will be no real women, okay, in any of these sports. And then maybe they will be satisfied. Let's go for full equality. Let's go ahead and raise that basket up in the WNBA. And let's take all the cats that weren't good enough to make it into the NBA, the second tier, and let's throw them over into the WNBA. I guarantee it would solve their business problem. It'd be a lot more exciting.
But Simone Biles said she said maybe this is your solution. All this campaign because you lost a race, straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community, perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Maybe a transgender category in all sports.
Sure, we can put them in a padded building with padded rooms and padded event fields, and we can have very padded going-ons and comings, and they can have all their own, dude, in the padded asylums. Make asylums great again, folks. Make asylums great again. Like
my bad, Razor. I'm gonna let you finish.
The woman who looks like a man is accusing a white girl that she's a man. Sorry.
That's what a transgender NBA, transgender WNBA would just be called the NBA.
Brittany Griner already plays in the WNBA, folks.
Let's just keep it real here. However, Gimpy, I do want to push back really quickly because I know we got to move on to what you said, though. I think that the whole hiding of the liberalism behind it. No, let's keep it real here. Only 7% of African American women in the United States voted for Trump. So that means 93% of them are liberal. I think that speaks to a cultural thing. And you said you can't necessarily stop them. You're right. You can't necessarily stop them, but specific ones or specific cultures can be stopped. That's why 2 years ago, when Tomi Lahren, who is a white blonde former analyst, I forgot what she was for, but you guys know who she is. Yeah, jumped onto Instagram and said, "Hey, if you men want to be with women like us, you guys have to change your attitude and be men." And then 2 days later, she jumped on and said, I apologize. Let me clarify what I was saying, because the men of that culture are able to hold them accountable. That just recently started to happen, and it's still considered somewhat taboo in this 92% of women that voted for Biden and Kamala Harris. So
let's
it's a
move on,
cultural
guys.
thing as well.
Let's move on, guys. But I will say this. A shout out to Positive Vibes. Shout out. Oh, she's part of that 92%. Oh, forget you.
She's a strong liberal woman. Positive Vibes.
Right on. But I'll say this about Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens. They're newlyweds still. They're young in their marriage, and there are certain things that happen while you're newlyweds, right? Everything isn't in order. All the communication that need to take place, all the follow my husband ideas aren't always there. When initially. So I'd give them a little grace in this particular situation, because they're still newlyweds and they're developing their marriage. They still have a long way to go if they're talking about till death do us part. So I think things will change and shift as, all of us that are married here, things have changed and shift through the course of your marriage.
No. Hold on. Give Logic. Let me ask you the question. Logic. Quick question for you to answer.
We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. You can ask me later. You can ask me later. All right, guys, because we really got to get out of here. But I do want to play this last clip, because Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, another girl fight, cat fight, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna play this clip, and then I'm going to just go around the horn, get your instant reaction, then we're going to get out of here. But I just thought this was funny, because this whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese whole debate, but this mainly is focusing on Angel Reese. She's come out and said, she should be paid like LeBron and Steph Curry, and things like that. And there's been some highlights of her playing basketball, which she's a professional. And
are you sure?
I put my air quotes up, dude. So there's been some clips to come out here, but there's a gentleman that responded to some of those, and I want to play this. But then after we see this video, I want to get you guys' immediate response if Angel Reese, or what league Angel Reese should be playing in, and how much she'd be getting paid. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this clip real quick. Here we go.
All right, this series I saw last night ended everything Angel Reese forever. I will only support Caitlin Clark from now on.
In the chat, if your team Angel Reese, let us know. If your team Caitlin Clark, let us know.
It was just last year. She said she should be making what LeBron makes. Or Steph Curry. That's what she said.
Oh my God!
Dude, she's a beast.
Are you fucking kidding me?
She's a beast. I mean, Jordan is watching her and
her
wishing he
entire
had skills
bench
like
was
her.
yelling, "Kick the ball out."
Dude, she's Patrick
I just
Ewing
wish
against the
Angel
Pacers.
Reese fans would just say, we hate Caitlin Clark because of our racial bigotry. Because there's no way in the world you're comparing these two basketball players. No way.
All right, guys. I just thought it was funny, but Gimpy.
No, that's true. That's very funny.
Who you taking, man? Clark? Oh, let me ask, how much should Angel Reese be getting paid, and what league should she be playing in?
Me?
Yeah.
The dog catching league, and she should be paying us. Angel Reese, like she's Patrick Ewing against the Pacers.
You might have to explain that. There were a lot of people that we're a
how he
specific
misses
generation.
that layup at the end of the freaking playoff game 3 times in a row, dude. Like, and then the next one she is Charles Oakley, same game, does the same thing. Like, dude, this woman can't play basketball. It's an artificial construct. They had one moment in college that they have now been marketing ever since. It's all fake. And the league picks on Caitlin Clark because of her. Stupidest shit ever, man. I'm Team Clark. Got to stand up for my big nose white girls.
There we go. All right, Fitzgerald, man, what you got, man?
No, I mean, I think sometimes a little bit overstated how bad she is because she's a glass cleaner. She's not an offensive scorer.
Hold on, glass cleaner. I mean, hold on.
She's a glass. Oh my God.
Is that what kind of glass? Like, is the window behind her?
No, but this is the reason why. Oh, I can't be serious with that video. This is the reason why. The reason why I say she's a glass cleaner because she leads the WNBA in rebounds, right? Technically speaking, but
most of them are her own.
Knee bounds, bro, not rebounds.
No.
Bounds.
Hold on. The reason she leads the league in rebounds is because she catches her own misses.
Yes, she does. Okay, but this is the thing, though. All right, she's obviously not a great offensive player or the talent that Caitlin Clark is in terms of skill wise, but her sentiments about getting paid as much as LeBron and Stephen Curry is just completely erroneous. I mean, that's wrong. It doesn't even make sense. There's not a high demand for to watch Angel Reese do that, miss 5 layups and get her own rebound. So no, I think it's a little bit misguided with her statements, but she's a rebounder. She's a rebounder. I'll try to play nice a little bit and say she's a rebounder.
All right. Well, so what team should she play on? Like what league should she be in?
She should be in the WNBA. I would wish that she would stop doing Exactly. She should be in the WNBA. Do less videos of this and more time in the gym practicing her game. I would hope.
All right, soldiers. What league should Angel Reese be in?
Well, first I'd like to say God bless the late great Don Imus. And second, Gimpy, how dare you mention Jordan and Ewing in the same conversation involving anyone on the WNBA. She should probably be playing for some high school. You know, I give her Dunbar down in Baltimore City.
Well, she is from Baltimore, ain't she?
Okay, well, there you go. And again, I want to conclude my remarks with recognizing the thoughts of the late great Don Imus.
Copy.
All right, we got.
If I can say, I believe we have Lena behind the scenes.
Yeah, we got Lena.
Hey.
All right, Lena. Hey, you're here. What's going on?
Hello, hi guys.
Hey, turn your camera on. Turn your camera.
Camera. Need your camera. Got a camera.
Oh God, I look crazy.
We all do. We all do.
I literally have a bonnet on my head. Can I just be excused this one time?
No. Come on.
Now you have to come on.
We have to. Yes.
I will set black women back like a whole century.
Come on. We have to be.
Angel Reese has already done that.
The same for everybody.
There we go.
There you go. Even if you're pointing at the ceiling, there you go.
No, you got it.
Because we can't have. Yeah. Go
ahead. Okay. Honestly, I think that Reese does add some type of entertainment to the WNBA, and that it increases viewership for the feud. Is she a better player than Clark? No. Clark does lead the lead in scoring and stuff. She does lead the lead in rebounding because I had just looked it up. Reese is insane to think she should get paid like LeBron. Even like the lowest paid like basketball NBA player, I don't think. Number one, they don't have the viewership, the revenue. I just think they're just breaking even, right?
No, the WNBA is still in the negative. They have been for the last decade.
She need to shut up and be quiet, play ball, and continue doing her job. Be grateful.
Let me ask you, Lena, why does she get so many rebounds?
She misses so many shots.
They're not called rebounds. They're called me bounds.
Like even in the clip, even in this clip that just played,
there's about 4 rebounds there. Yeah,
she got her own rebound 5 times.
Yeah.
Oh, you're actually playing my clip. That was for me, but go ahead, play it anyway. That was
you got the clip.
It's a different clip. Yeah, this is.
No. Go ahead and play that one. Play that one.
Okay, you want to, yeah, this for those that don't know, there's a gentleman by the name of at Stat Stuffer who does all of these bang Angel Reese videos. And this is it. Like real quick, check this out.
Now here we go again.
Can you actually hear it?
Race part 27. Let's get
1 rebound.
5 seconds in. We are
wait for it. He had to show that. Wait for it.
3 of 10 from the field. Don't be a shot chucker challenge. Impossible. Hot diggity. My favorite shot in all of basketball. The patented Angel Reese long 2. Here we go. Bang! My favorite shot in all of basketball is Angel Reese running the 2 players and get your shot blocked. At least she got her double-double, right?
God,
oh, no, wait, she didn't. Now what are they going to say? Let's watch Angel Reese get her 70-second shot and get blocked. Bang!
No.
You're going to show Caitlin Clark's turnovers? You got to show her turnovers. Angel Reese just had 6. Now what? We playing football now? Okay. No, we're going to call this the China step. Doing stuff like that. Get ready to learn Chinese. You tell Angel Reese loves Cupid Shuffle.
Clinically blind.
Hold on. Y'all missed what he just said.
No, I heard it. Oh.
Because he, what's my guy's name with the big beard with the Euro step that he used?
Harden.
Yeah.
Harden.
Harden with the Euro step.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This dude just said with the China step.
Harden. Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
Go back. Play it.
Hold on. Wait, one more time. You want to hear that?
He said the China
stuff
step.
Like that. Get ready to learn Chinese. You can tell Angel
Get ready to learn Chinese
because that's traveling, and you can't do that. Reese just had 6. Now what? We playing football now? Okay. No longer the Euro step. We're gonna call this the China step. You can tell Angel Reese loves the Cupid Shuffle.
Oh, that's terrible.
All right. We got to
leave. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
No.
Thanks, guys, for letting me defend my. Do you guys watch WNBA though?
No.
Only
no.
Watch the WNBA.
I just started watching it like 2 years ago.
Lena, can I tell you this? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The only reason that I even care about the WNBA today is because of these specific. I don't even watch the NBA anymore, but the only reason I care about the WNBA is because these specific 2 players, and the only reason that Angel Reese is any kind of important, and I know who she is because she's been made a joke. She's turned herself into a joke.
It's because of some white girl. Actually, the only reason why we know who Angel Reese is
because of the feud. Yeah.
What feud? There's no
LSU thing.
What are you talking about?
That's how everyone knows it. That's where it comes from. Is that one moment Angel Reese was witty, and from then moment on, she's been riding it for marketing a brand, dude. Her brand, and she has the entire WNBA kicking the crap out of the leading scorer all year.
And
that's true. She's on the cover of a cereal box. I just seen her recently.
I'll say it again and shut up. I will say it again and shut up. The only reason the WNBA is still at a negative, but less of a negative, is because of Caitlin Clark. She's the only reason.
She's a beast.
No one else would care.
She's a beast. And
it is what it is.
The reason why Angel Reese has a career is because some white girl with a big nose. Just say.
I got a question. Joe, gun to your head. Name 5 WNBA teams.
Me? Who's that for?
Name 1. I don't know.
I could name the Stars and the Liberty. And Indiana.
300% more than me and Logic. And Tyrone, owe
Lena,
for how little he knows.
Thank you for hopping on tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Join us next week. We'll be back. Kung Fu, real quick. I just want to say hi to you.
What's up, brother?
That's MCM super fan. Yeah, what's up, man?
Look, Once Caitlin Clark got hurt, viewership dropped 40%.
There you go.
Across the
That
league.
speaks volumes. There you go.
Yeah, as simple as that. She is the face of the league, but because the league is majority African American and lesbian, they're upset.
Yep.
They're upset.
Get a
And
straight Christian girl. That's what's going on.
So Kung Fu Draco said you sound like an emotional woman now. How do you respond to that?
Emotional woman? I'm a preacher. What y'all talking about? No, I'm just saying, she's beaten Angel Reese in head-to-head since she's been in the NBA. A bunch.
Yep.
She made the playoffs. She took the worst team in the NBA to the playoffs as a rookie. Come on.
Hey man, we're gonna have to do an Angel Reese show. I think somebody suggested Chris Jones suggested we need to do an Angel Reese show. So we might have to do that because there's enough content right there to keep us rolling for at least an hour.
And Chris Jones, you saying that Logic asked earlier what kind of league should Angel Reese be in? I think it needs to be a league that the points that you score are based on how many rebounds you get. Then she'd be a league leader. I'm serious.
She'd be up there.
They call that Special Olympics.
Yeah. But guys, we got to get out of here, guys. And we thank you guys.
Y'all later.
All right, Kung Fu.
See you later, Kung Fu.
We gotta get out of here, guys. Fantastic show. So just tell them where to find you real quick.
Right here on YouTube, Soldiers of Finance channel.
Okay.
Okay.
Eddie, what you been covering this week, man? What's hot right now? People should know about.
Well, we're following the Letitia James saga. That's very interesting because, Letitia James, the person who persecuted Trump for a real estate issue,
Whoa, hold on. 30 minutes ago, Trump to deploy National Guard to LA.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Protest against the ICE arrests and everything going on in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, check out Soldier Finance. We cover it all.
Right on. Fitzgerald joined us for the first time. I think you're going to see him as a regular face.
Absolutely.
Moving forward, man. Tell what people where to find you and what should they be paying attention to this week.
Oh, well, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for having me. This was an incredibly fun. It's been an hour and 30 minutes and it's felt like 5 minutes. So I really enjoyed it. They can find me on social media, Twitter, Fitzgerald Mofor. And I think this week we really want to work on getting people registered to vote. That's kind of our project moving forward. So, yeah.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Gippy, what you got, man?
Go check out Tyrone on Soldiers of Finance because I cut him off. I feel bad, dude. I'm sorry. My phone beeped at me and I saw Trump sending National Guard. My brain kind of exploded.
No problem.
Apologies, my friend. So go check out Tyrone's channel. People, you want to get rich? Hang out with him. That's how you get rich.
Right on. And Reason.
Well, I second what Gimpy just said. Follow Soldiers of Finance channel. Please do. I always say this dude is one smart guy. He really is. Also, follow Logic everywhere as well. This guy, look for him. If you're looking for me, though, I don't do all that much social media, but you know what? You'll find me behind the scenes of every single Metro Conservative Media show. I do them all. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, Poppin' Politics at 9, 8, at 9. Tuesday at 6 o'clock, it is the All American Talk Show, or should I say 6:30. And Thursday and Sunday, you can catch KJ Christian Conservative. You can find me behind the scenes on all of those, help produce all of those shows. And, if you catch me, I guess, on X at I Am Reason 820, occasionally you'll catch me on there. But yeah, that's where you find me, you guys. Always a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Then I've been your host, Logic. Thanks for tuning in. If you think you got what it takes, go to metroconservativemedia.com, join the movement. Again, just like Reason said, check out all the Metro Conservative Media content. We're building a movement here. And shout out to the guys tonight. Shout out to the chat. If you haven't done so already, join the Shamers Club. And guys, remember, we're bringing back shame and only monkeys litter.
Wait, whoa, because these guys never do it for them. Hold on. Before you guys go, last week we weren't here, and they'll never say it, but these two gentlemen up here are a part of reaching out to the community in a way everybody talks about, but few do. We had the Informed Voter Power series last Saturday. Logic and reason were a key element. Like, I'm there, but I'm always there because I watch the door. That's the same job I have at every event. But that being said, these guys are out in the community doing what everybody says they're doing. They were there. They did it. They reached out. It was about youth. It was about community. It was about responsibility, religion, family, conservative politics. And shout out to those two gentlemen, because not enough men in the community are like Fitz, Logic, Reason, Tyrone, and are actually in the trenches. So someone just has to say it before the show's over. Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.